What you're doing is not easy. We've said it many times. We've said it in the Mount Everest thing, and we've said it various other ways that you guys do hard stuff all the time, and you expect somehow that spiritual growth isn't hard. But spiritual growth is actually one of the most challenging things you're doing because you're confronting the survival instinct. So I just want to remind you. Now, the other thing that happened at cello was the teacher made up these sheets, and each sheet has a line, and each one is numbered. And so there's this one, and there's this one, and there's this one, and there's this one. So she's learned them as she goes along. And the teacher said, this is never going to be easy. They're designed to be hard. They're designed that this one, and then the next one's harder. Because you need to learn these different things, and then we're going to combine all the different things you learn later, and you're going to play a song. But each one of these is going to be hard. Now, some of them will be a little easier than others, depending on your skill set and your personality and who you are and what comes easy to you and what doesn't. But they're specifically designed to challenge you in some way, each one. You change the tempo, you change the signature, you change are they eighth notes, are they half notes, are they coming off open strings, are they going on to fourth finger or first finger or third finger, are they slurs? All that stuff is there because you have to learn it all. So it's going to be hard, every single one. And she went, whoa, look at that. That's just what we talk about on Wednesday. I better compare you to you or I'm screwed. But that is a perfect example of U2U. And a good reminder that if you don't stop between number 13 and 14 and compare U2U and realize that, yeah, number 14's hard, but I can actually do number 13 now, and last week I couldn't. If you never take that moment to say, I'm making progress, you're never going to be able to feel like you're getting anywhere. Because there's always another line of something to teach you. Is this sinking in?
Oh, absolutely.
We know we've talked about U2U 1,000 times, but this, is that funny? Oh. We know we've talked about U2U 1,000 times, but this example is too perfect to pass up. The next little lesson, 5 measures, is specifically designed to be hard on purpose. And so it is when you guys decide to break another habit, when you decide to confront your core emotion, when you decide to look at your childhood in a new way, when you decide to tell your partner, look, we need to do something different. Of course it's hard because it's new, it's the next thing. But just like now, Veronica knows how to slur 2 notes, that tool, okay, so now you have to slur 2 notes coming from one string to the next. Harder, but you know how to slur now. You know when you look at the music what a slur is. For all of you who don't have a fucking clue what we're talking about, a slur is when you keep the bow going but you play 2 different notes, or now she's learning to play 3 in a slur. But you pull the bow and instead of going note 1, note 2, you go note 1, note 2. Okay? It's not easy. Why? Because your brain has been going note 1, note 2, note 1, note 2, note 1, and then you go note 1, oh shit, note 2, and then you run out of bow. Bow management is another lesson. Yeah.
The BEAUs.
Yeah. That's enough from you over there. Yeah. Yes. So you can imagine if you're slurring on one string, which is done, lift up a finger. Okay, now you're done, and you have to angle and go to another string and make it sound good. Harder. But if you didn't know how to slur in the first place and starting with that, too hard. Got it? Okay, so why are we going into all this? Because only you can say 14 is hard, but I can do 13. And maybe you say 14 is hard, I can sort of do 13, but God, I really can do 2. And I'm good at 3, and I hate 4, still can't do 4, don't tell anybody. And 6, 7, and 8, I would actually let someone hear me do those 3. You're the only one who can give yourself that gift. And if you don't give it, it's so easy to see when we show somebody else's story. That's why we always use Veronica, because it's easier for you guys to see when it's not your own shit. you could see, and each one of you would be so pained if she said, oh God, I can't do 14. And you're like, yeah, but you did 13. There's no way any of you would let her do that in your presence without pointing out, oh, but look at it, God, you did that slur over here, you'll get it. But you won't do it for yourselves, and that pisses us off a little. Okay, we're just going to say it, honestly. This is the only thing, really, that gets us a little bit like, about you guys. You know, we've been complimented on our infinite patience. And we don't care. We'll say the same thing 500 different ways if we can think of 500 different ways to say it, because to us it's all fun and interesting. But what we cannot stand is when you're mean to yourselves. We absolutely can't stand it. And we've said before, we only have one rule. One, you don't get to be mean to yourself. And the way you prove to us you're not being mean to yourself is you do U2U. You get it? That's how you prove it. Because when you do U2U, you say, I can't do 14, and I'm gonna, but right now I can do 13. And I couldn't do 13 last week. And a year ago, I never even imagined I'd be on number 13. I never imagined I'd be sitting here playing a cello, right? Just like you. You might have said, I never imagined in a million years I'd be making my own DVD, right? I never imagined in a million years I would finish this 1,200-page document, you know, right? You go back a year, go back 5 years, go back 20 years, right? Some of the things you all have accomplished. You'd never imagined in a million years you could actually have that opportunity. And those are just sort of physical accomplishments. I never imagined I could let go of having a service mentality run my life. I never imagined I could open my heart the way I have and love myself and shut off my brain a little bit every once in a while, right? I never imagined I could be that. And the thing here, this is the little key point. Remember the girls, and they said this. The reason you have a hard time loving yourself completely is you know everything about yourself. That was the best thing they've ever said, in our opinion. Why? Because it cuts to the quick of the truth, of the challenge of loving yourself. You know too much about yourself to feel like you can love yourself completely. So when you do U2U, part of what happens is you say, okay, I can't do number 13. I can do number 13, yay. But you're like, I know I kind of got lucky in that second measure. God, if I had to do it again, I don't think I could. And then I told you that number, what is 7? I still can't do that one. I don't even know how she checked me off on that one, because there's no way. I've tried it 10 times in the last week. I couldn't do it once. And so you know you're a cheater, or a liar, or a fake, or you're not real, or I'm unconscious sometimes, or God, if they knew, if they saw my credit card bill, if they knew that I didn't pay my bill on time, if they knew that I stole something, or if they knew I was rude to this person, or if they knew I hate babies. Whatever it happens to be this week, right? Or if they knew I didn't take my dog to the vet because I don't think I can afford it. That's one where you guys are like, oh, he doesn't look like he's too bad. I think I'll just see if he gets better. Right? You've all done it. Don't try to play. We know. Yeah. Or, here's the best one. If they knew how long it's been since I had my teeth cleaned. Yeah, we knew we'd get you guys on that one. We could feel them popping up. It's kind of fun to read them off. Anyway, trust us, you guys are doing all similar ones. Because you know too much about yourself, even if you do a compare you to you, and you say, I got that number 13 down pat, number 14 scares the crap out of me, but wow, I made progress between those two. Whatever little lingering insecurities from the previous ones that you have not dialed in completely distract you from an honest, authentic U2U experience. And that's what we want you guys to be aware of right now. You didn't cheat to get here. You can't cheat on the path of consciousness. You didn't get lucky one day and you were conscious. Wow, check me out, I got conscious and I skated through. Remember we said you can't ascend